Welcome to the Remodeler Success Podcast, a show created to inspire kitchen and bath industry professionals to achieve optimal success in their remodeling business. Your host, Dennis Oz, is the author of the book, Remodel Your Digital Marketing, an integrated online marketing guide for kitchen and bath remodelers. He's also the founder of RTA Marketing, a pioneer digital marketing agency for the remodeling industry. On each episode, Dennis will sit down with industry leaders to talk about their processes, the lessons they learned, and how to find success in remodeling.
Welcome to the Remodeler Success Podcast, where we dive into the kitchen and bath industry. Thank you so much for being here again. I'm sure that with our listener notes and the emails that we receive is showing us that we are on the right path for giving you the great content here. Today is going to be another amazing episode, folks, because today we have an incredible guest whose innovative design philosophy has really transformed the countless spaces into modern sanctuaries. With over 2 decades of experiencing the interior architectural design, she has been recognized for her creative approach and contributions to our kitchen and bath industry. Her high-end residential and commercial projects that we're going to also dive in today, they reflect a really unique blend of artistry and wellness. I don't want to stir or storm anymore. Please join me welcoming Michele Alfano to our podcast. Michele, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Dennis. I'm so happy to be here. And you're hired. I'm taking you with me to my client interviews.
Thank you. Michele, could you please introduce yourself to us?
Sure. I'm Michele Alfano. My work is Michele Alfano Design. I'm located in Montebello, New York, which is in Rockland County. Do you want to hear my whole story? I can
feel free, of course. This is going to be my first question, actually. We always have a lot of influence about our guests, how they get into the kitchen and bath industry. What is your story?
Yeah, so my story is I'm a daughter of an experimental physicist. I grew up around innovation. He really led me on a path of math and science, and I was an applied math major in college, but it wasn't until I went off my junior year to Florence, Italy, and I fell in love with not only, of course, the architecture, the food, but the fashion. And I came back and I said to my physicist dad, I'm going to be a fashion designer. And he said, yeah, no. He said, you're going to somehow figure out fashion, art, you love art, and science and math. Figure that out. And I said, okay. And I went off to architecture school, and that is a science and an art. And I was lucky enough to have a professor who was an art professor from Union College, and he really directed my skills. And I came back and I literally fell in love with architecture. The thing is, when I was in the field and I was trained as an architect, I really found a journey of falling in love with interior experiences. And there was one project that really inspired me, and it was a project in Fukuoka, Japan. And this client, he wanted to do something different with his department store, because in Fukuoka, Japan, it's an island surrounded by water, and everything is connected back to the train stations. But he didn't want stores in these pedestrian tunnels, so people were walking and buying and then coming in. He wanted something unique. So the design of the pedestrian tunnel was a tricking of the mind. You didn't feel like you were walking through a tunnel, you were walking over a bridge of water. So in that experience, and I designed this at Walker Group C&I when I was working in Manhattan, I got the opportunity to include lighting and multimedia and dichroic glass and cool cable design. And I learned at that moment that interior experiences and emotion was very important in design.
That's right. It's extremely important. Thanks so much for joining us here again. Let's dive in, Michele. When we visit your website, which is michelealfanodesign.com, we see that Poetic Modernism. Can you tell us about the philosophy of it, what's behind it, and how it influences your design approach?
Well, Poetic Modernism, I developed the approach because I really wanted to get to know my clients on a deeper level. In modernism, it's about form follows function, right? In poetic modernism, it's about how emotion shapes form and function. It's about positive emotions can drive design and uplifting design. So, to give you an example of what I mean, like think about something, a place in the world, in nature, that gives you absolute awe. If you just take a breath, go, oh, I love that. I take that feeling from my clients and I weave that into the design. I find that to be kind of a good way to understand how a person's body is feeling in their environments. Because that I want people to feel motivated to live in positive spaces and feeling satisfied, fulfilled. And if I can tap into emotions in their memories and bring them into the design, then they will have uplifted lives.
This is a very interesting fact. We are changing the lives when we are designing spaces. You talk about different elements when you are designing a space, and there are some cross relations between those. And how do you incorporate these elements into your modern interior design?
Well, my overall aesthetic is warm modern. So I use earthy textures, earthy color palettes, clean lines. But I weave elements of emotional connection. That is very important, right? Those positive memories that provide comfort and emotional well-being. Like, for example, in one of my projects, the client wanted a spa bathroom, and they talked about how they loved upstate New York and how they got married outdoors. And I took that emotional connection and I created like a slot of moss and embedded it in tile. So when she's sitting in her freestanding tub and she's around nature, she's thinking about her wedding day, and it's subconscious, So elements like that, tidiness, really important. I encourage functionality and organization. That will just elevate your routines on a daily basis and make you enjoy your spaces. I had a project where, again, it was a spa bathroom where they had a small closet and a little bathroom, and we opened it up, and I had the closet and the bathroom all in one space. So now it's efficient. They can get ready in the morning. They have linen closets on both sides of the vanity and their closet right now. Everything is off the counters. It is organized, and they say that it has improved their lives tenfold. What else? Integrating nature, as I talked about. We now know by neuroscience that have nature around you in your spaces, you reduce stress, right, and increase creativity. And another project, I had a project where you walked in the door and it was complete organized chaos, toys everywhere. Now we created a mudroom where you walk in and I see a plant wall. So they're already starting off their day or coming home from work and feeling good in their spaces. There's so many ways, elements that I bring into the.
This is amazing to hear. Well, since you're talking about your projects, we got a lot of fun, and also we learned a lot of things from our speakers about their projects that really stand out from their other projects. Do you have any kind of project that you talk about today?
Well, one project that was a challenge was a project in Hoboken. It was a 1890 townhouse, and the client was traditional, however, wanted a modern surprise when they come back into their kitchen. So we opened up the back wall, so it was all glass, looking beyond into their garden. And I said, how do I give that nod to 1890? So by creating a soffit in the ceiling and popping up and creating a tin ceiling over the island, that gave that architectural nod. Now, the contractor, however, I wanted the lights specifically embedded in the pattern of the tin ceiling. And when I came to the site, I saw that the holes of the J boxes were not embedded within my pattern. And it's that detail that literally ruined the whole ceiling design. So it had to come down and rejigged even though that it was in the construction documents. It's great. I just don't know. I still to this day don't understand how that happened. So that was a big challenge, but it was rectified, and now it was a stunner. It was a stunner to see everything coordinated over the kitchen island.
It's great to hear the stories when they start with the challenge and turn out to be a great story. So it's always something that we like to hear more in this channel too. So thank you so much for sharing this one. Let's discuss technology on interior design. How do you leverage that technology and some of the tools that you're using on your day-to-day work and on your designs? How do you use it?
So first of all, I love technology. I love it. I love it. I always want to I always want to see what's out and what's next. But I do love those smart faucets and integrating that into the kitchens, whether it's, the wave or voice activated. I think that's brilliant. And, it really makes cooking easier. You can be cooking a chicken, right? And just wave, and you're not spreading germs within the sink. I love integrating those smart toilets. Not only do they self-clean, but they clean you, and then they heat your bum. They use, different flush technologies to save water. So I love that about the sustainability of these smart toilets. And not only that, I think they save marriages, because with the self-closing lid, hello. And I'm lately putting more home automation into homes. It's great when it's a new project, when all the studs are open and you're able to integrate, a pad that can control multiple functions just with one button, creating scenes and spaces. Coming home, just pressing a button, say welcome home, and then your lighting level comes down to what you desire. Or the blinds come down, your security system is tied into it, airflow is tied into it. So it just really accentuates, high standard of living, and helps you live easier if you can control things on scenes. I love also lighting controls. There's one, even Legrand's came out with an automated system. They have beautiful, I don't know if you know Legrand, they have beautiful switches and dimmers and different plates with different colors, so you can integrate them into your design. But you can even do as little with Legrand as just automating the light level that you want in the space. Just by pushing a button, it comes to the lighting level you want and the color you want, or you can go all the way with their system. So those are some ways that I bring in technology into my work.
This is amazing to hear. Since we are talking about technology, Michele, I'm going to ask you this question. How do you stay current and on top of everything? How do you educate yourself?
Well, there are design shows every year that I like to go to. Kitchen Bath Industry Show. It used to be in Florida and in Vegas, but now it's only in Vegas.
I think they're going to bring it back to Orlando. Not
really?
this year, because we were exhibiting last year in Vegas. They said it's going to be in Vegas too. I think what they liked about the KBIS is every time that they do it in the more central location instead of the corner of the country, they have more people walking in. Vegas is a place where East Coast and West Coast can get together. That's why every time that they do the Kitchen and Bath Industry Show somewhere in the middle America, like Vegas, they can host this kind of a big events, because it's not only Kitchen and Bath Industry Show, it's also International Builders Show with that as well. It's connected. So I think they have more visitors and everything from East and West. I think this is my opinion. As an exhibitor on the show, they are planning to do that on Vegas a little more, but they are planning to bring it back to Orlando, not in 2025, but could be in 2026. I'm also in New Jersey. Every time I'm just going there in Vegas, like a 3 hours local time difference is just kind of killing us, right?
It is far.
Yeah, it is.
very easy to go down to Florida. I have family that lives in Florida.
There we go. Yes, we
You
all
know, you
have some
kill two
reasons to
birds with
be.
one stone.
We all have some reasons to be in Florida, but Vegas, if the CEO of the National Kitchen and Bath Association maybe hear us from here, so we want Florida.
We want Florida. Exactly.
Just the funny part of it. Of course, whatever is better for our industry, Kitchen and Bath Association will be giving that exact direction to us. But you said you're getting most of the updated information from the shows, right?
I go from the shows or even getting invited to the showrooms. They have lots of events, showrooms. I was just at an event in Jersey at an appliance center, and it's fun to actually connect with all people in the industry, but see what else is going on. People can talk to you. And I love going to kitchen showrooms because they have chefs that will, make lunch for you. And you get to
Yes.
actually, yeah, and you can actually work on the appliances, and you're part of the show. You're actually making yourself and everybody that was invited lunch. So you really get to learn about the technology in the ranges or the induction cooktop, and it's great. I learned that way, and then of course, magazines, keeping updated with what's going on. Yeah.
Those are great ways, exactly. Kitchen and bath industry shows plays a really important role for all of us folks. If you're listening here and if you haven't been in any kind of shows, we strongly suggest and recommend you to be there. I believe the next one is going to be February, but I don't know the exact time and date. February 2025 in Vegas. It's on nkba.org and kbis.org. You can see the information from there, and you should be there. Just like Michele said, this is a show that brings everyone together and we are learning from each other. The connections that you made will bring you a lot of value out of these shows, even if you are spending a lot of time flying. Some of our listeners from Vegas too, so it's really easy for them. But if you are listening and tuning in from East Coast folks, yes, you got to book that plane ticket and you got to go there. Thank you.
We do have good shows in New York too. We have ICFF actually has gotten a lot better. They have the architectural design, architectural digest show that goes with the ICFF for many years, and then Architectural Digest stopped. That was one of my favorite shows because it showed really the artisans and DIFA's dining by design, just so much eye candy during all those designs of dining rooms. But besides ICFF, there's BDNY, which is Boutique Design New York, which is hospitality design. That's also in the fall. There's really, really some good events.
East Coast folks are learning from you here because most of those shows going with the Kitchen and Bath Industry show. But guys, there are a lot of different shows that you can go and attend. Michele, just like you said, maybe your chapter is just getting together on a showroom. It's another way to just update ourselves. Mindset is really important here, and you'll be learning from the similar mindset people when you just attend these events and gatherings. So that's a very important part of your educational discovery. So Michele, we talk about the challenging projects, but I would like to ask your personal professional challenges. You have decades of experience, maybe something that really created you a little bit of hard work or hardship to learn, or could be a client relationship. Can you give us a little bit of examples on how you overcome these challenges in your professional career?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I find there's always challenges during any kind of remodel and construction. And I set that expectation with my clients first and foremost, because we have to have a sense of humor when we are going through construction. So I try to relay that to the client, and I find that actually helps, because they're waiting for something to happen. When something happens, it's not as terrible, right? There was one thing that really gave me a good learning lesson, and that was when I had done the design, the architectural planning, right down to all the interior design in this project, and the client hired a design build firm to execute the design. I found that there was a lot of pointing fingers between my mill worker and the GC's electrician, blaming each other. And I learned very fast that when I work with any kind of contractor, I always say to them, we are a team, and that I do not tolerate finger pointing. I do not want any going back to the client. We are the ones to figure out and problem solve, not to run to the client and make more problems out of it. I find that to be very, very important.
Your client doesn't want any problems. I believe this is why we are on board. All the problems need to be solved, and educating the actual contractors and whoever else in the team plays an important role. Folks, you are also learning the project management details here. Not only how to do the actual work, but when you're working on a project, it is different components there. And when you're designing it, design and build company is another part of it. You have to run the project with them. And sometimes it becomes so challenging, just like Michele's approach. You have to be up there as a professional, not to let anything just slip through the cracks or any kind of complaints go back to the customer. So this is a very professional way to say that, Michele. Thanks so much for sharing this and also underlining and highlighting this for our listeners too. Michele, there is a lot of things about AI. I just wanted to shift the question, different subject. AI is everywhere. In design, we are using it for content creation, video production, even like a coach. A couple of days ago, my wife is asking me, can AI help me calculate my calories? So let's talk about this.
Yes, it can.
Yeah. What do you think about AI and how do you utilize AI?
Yeah. I am not afraid of AI. There's a lot of designers that are very upset about AI and how people just post images online and take credit for the images, right? I embrace it. I've even customized my own GPT bot to be in my own brand voice. So when I need to kind of write something down for an Instagram post or something like that, it's in my brand voice. And I ask them, this is kind of what I want to write about. And, it'll spit out something. You have to edit it. I think it's important to always edit because AI tends to be a little bit repetitive, but I do use it. And I also used it actually as an inspiration image for a bar design that I was doing. I, prompted it, the different materiality that I wanted the bar to look like. It developed an image, albeit the space was not the same dimension. It's not, the scale is kind of off, but as an inspiration image, I gave it to the client. They said, yes, this is actually, I'm grooving to this. I'm like, great. So now then I had to apply that and create, the design within SketchUp model as per the proportions and design based off of that inspiration from AI. I mean, it is kind of amazing.
AI is almost everywhere. Some people are really feeling, oh my God, AI is coming. But just like Michele said, folks, AI is not going to replace you. You'll be replaced by someone who is using AI if you're not using it. So that's the most important part here. Just like Michele said, creating a GPT bot, folks, can I just briefly explain, Michele? Here, you just go to your chat GPT and you create your own GPT model. You feed the information over there and you have your brand voice. This is what you're doing, Michele, right?
You have to be in 4.0 in order to create it, and you do have to. It's not free. You have to pay for the ChatGPT in order to create your own custom bots.
Once the bot learns about what you do, what type of language that you're using, you can utilize that bot in your blog productions, or if you're creating some social media captions. In today's age, that shouldn't be a problem, folks. You should be at least have a paid version of ChatGPT, or could be a cloud or Google Gemini. Those are different models, and you can implement those strategies to your work. AI is pretty much inside our industry right now, and our designers are using it. It's amazing to hear. And thank you so much for sharing that one, Michele. Let's take the conversation to the marketing, digital marketing especially. With the decades of experience, Michele, you have a massive word of mouth, I'm sure about this. If you have no reputation and no word of mouth, what would be your strategy if you start digital marketing from scratch?
That's a good question. Well, Facebook groups, I think, are pretty helpful. Especially, if you do, let's say you designed your own house or you designed a friend's house and you have that friend to go into a group and look for, oh, I'm looking for a designer, and they respond, oh, I know this designer. Here's their email or website or whatever it is, then other people in the group, when they're looking for that designer, will see that and will call you. They're looking for referrals.
Great advice. By using the social media here, folks, it's just like Michele said, it's a power. And it's free. That's why I'm asking you how you do that from scratch. Now, going back to today, how Michele Alfano plays digital marketing. Can you tell us what you do?
Well, I actually ask past clients not only to write a testimonial and use that on my social media channels, but also to write those in those groups. And I do get calls. I do get calls from moms or whomever who's looking for a designer. I'm in business networking groups, and we all kind of refer one another. So that's also very important. And in your business group, they will refer you online in digital marketing also to keep talking about you. You want to be talked about when you're not in the room. That's the key.
It's a quick 2 cents from me, folks. If you don't really know how to post it again, create your bot and let them write. You don't need to write it today. You can write it. So that's it. Even if you just ask this bot how to put on Facebook groups, I'm sure that he can create those kind of content over there, right?
100%.
The capabilities over there is endless, folks. You just utilize it and you're not going to regret it. So that's a very important part of it. And thanks so much, Michele. Digital marketing is one thing in our industry because it's been a topic that we have different major networks like Google network and also social medias, and SEO is a part of it. Our content is a part of it. Here, Michele just gave us what we can actually do, especially for you folks. If you don't have a referral base, sometimes you're just getting started. This is pretty normal. You will get there. But look, if you just reach out to the people in your area with a case study, that will support your reputation in your own local neighborhood. Michele, that's such an eye-opener advice here, and thank you so much for this. This is an amazing episode today. Michele, also, we have a couple of people, they are just getting started and they would like to learn from people like you who are in the industry for a long time. What would be your piece of advice to these people?
For those aspiring designers out there who are just getting started, I think it's really important to work for an architect or a studio that sends you out into construction, because it's very important to have that language skill to know how to integrate plumbing, electrical, structural with your design aesthetic, because then contractors will respect you more, especially women. Contractors will respect you more. And if you have that foundation to problem solve and speak their language, tradespeople's language, you will do very well, and you can then break the rules.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Michele, I'm sure there will be some follow-up questions after this episode is published. What would be the best way to reach out to you?
Yeah, sure. So my name, MicheleAlfanoDesign.com, and I'm on Instagram also at Michele Alfano Design. Please contact me with any of your questions.
That was great. Michele, thank you so much one more time for being here, sharing all your wisdom. Thank you so much for this one. Folks, that was another episode of Remodeler Success Podcast. We're going to see you next time. Goodbye.
If you would like to generate more leads, please visit rtamarketing.com to get a copy of the book, Remodel Your Digital Marketing, an integrated online marketing guide for kitchen and bath remodelers. This has been another episode of the Remodeler Success Podcast. Thanks for listening.